She said it so easily, like it was already written in stone. I'm having a baby in 2026. No hesitation, no second thought. Just confidence. The kind of confidence that makes people stop scrolling and actually look at the screen. The kind that feels real. And that's exactly why this whole situation hits different now. Because just days after she said that, everything started to fall apart. Not slowly, not quietly, overnight. Now, here's the part that makes this story uncomfortable to watch. She wasn't walking into this blind. People didn't just sit back and let her figure it out on her own. She was warned, not in private, not in coded messages, but publicly, clearly, and repeatedly. And she still chose to smile through it. So let's go back for a second, because the timeline matters more than anything here. A few days before all this chaos started, she's sitting in an interview. Calm. Polished, glowing. You can tell she feels secure, like her future is locked in. They ask her a simple question about her plans. And that's when she says it. Not maybe, not I hope, not we'll see. She says 100%. She even explains the plan. One baby, then back to her career, then another baby, then back again. Like she's mapping out her life step by step, like everything is under control. And honestly, when you watch that clip, you believe her. Because she believes herself. There's something about a person who feels safe that you can't fake. It shows in the way they talk, the way they sit, even the way they breathe. She looked like someone who thought she had it all figured out. But what she didn't realize is that someone else had already seen this exact story play out before, and that someone had been trying to tell her for months. Now, this is where things start to get uncomfortable, because the warnings didn't come from strangers. They didn't come from random people online guessing or assuming. They came from someone who had lived through it, someone who knew every detail, someone who had already seen how this story ends. And instead of taking a second to listen, she laughed it off. She treated it like bitterness, like jealousy, like someone who couldn't move on. And to be fair, a lot of people watching probably thought the same thing at the time, because it's easy to dismiss a warning when it doesn't match the version of reality you want to believe. It's easy to say, that won't happen to me. It's easy to believe you're different. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. Almost everyone thinks they're the exception, until they're not. The warnings weren't vague either. They weren't emotional rants or messy accusations. They were detailed, specific, almost like someone was laying out a pattern step by step, talking about behavior, habits, financial situations, the way things look good on the outside, but didn't add up behind the scenes. Even deeper than that, talking about character. And not just the good parts, the uncomfortable parts, the parts people usually hide. But instead of slowing down and really thinking about it, she doubled down on her own reality. She went live. She defended her relationship. She talked about her life, her house, her money, her happiness. And the way she said it, it didn't sound like someone who was relaxed. It sounded like someone trying to prove something. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. That kind of energy doesn't come from peace. It comes from pressure, because real peace doesn't need to be explained over and over again. Real peace is quiet. But this was loud. And while all of this was happening, the internet was watching. Quietly at first, then suddenly, not so quietly, because just as fast as that interview clip went viral, something else started spreading too. Rumors. Not small ones either. The kind that don't stay hidden, the kind that grow fast. And once they started, they didn't stop. People started connecting dots, pulling up old clips, comparing timelines, replaying interviews. And then suddenly, that confident 2026 baby plan didn't feel inspiring anymore. It felt fragile, like something built on a foundation that was already cracking. And that's when everything shifted, because now it wasn't just about what she said. It was about what she ignored. And that's when the story really begins to turn. At first, people were just curious. They wanted to know if the rumors were true or not. But very quickly, the conversation changed. It stopped being about what happened and started becoming about how did this happen again? Because the more people looked into it, the more familiar everything started to feel. The same patterns, the same energy, the same timeline. It was like watching a replay just with a different person in the main role. And that's what made everything hit harder, because now those old warnings didn't sound bitter anymore. They sounded accurate, almost too accurate. The big public love, the way everything was shown online, the image of something perfect, then the future planning, the talk about babies, long-term commitment, building something permanent, and then suddenly distance, small changes at first, easy to ignore if you don't want to see them, less time, less attention, more excuses, things that don't seem like much on their own, but together start to feel different. And by the time you realize something is off, you're already deep in it. That's the part people don't talk about enough. It's not one big moment. It's a slow shift. And by the time the truth becomes clear, it's already complicated. Now, here's where it gets even more intense, because while all this was happening, the internet wasn't just watching. It was reacting fast. Clips started getting edited side by side. On one side, her smiling, talking about her future baby. On the other side, those old warnings being replayed, word for word. And the comments? Not kind, not understanding, just direct. She was told, you lose them how you got them. This was predictable. And whether people agree with those statements or not, the impact is the same. Because once that narrative sticks, it doesn't go away easily. It follows you. Every post, every live video, every interview. And that's exactly what started happening. Every time she tried to defend her relationship, people brought up the same clips again. Every time she spoke about being happy, someone replayed the warnings. It turned into a loop. And loops like that don't break easily. Meanwhile, things behind the scenes seem to be getting more serious, more claims, more screenshots, more details coming out. And suddenly, this wasn't just online gossip anymore. Started feeling real. Messy, complicated. Then came a move that caught a lot of people's attention, the divorce filing. For some people, that looked like commitment, like proof that he was serious about moving forward. But for others, it felt different. It felt like timing, like something done because things got too loud to ignore. Because when you step back and really look at it, the timing matters. Why now? Why not before? Why only after everything started coming out? Those are the questions people started asking. And once those questions are out there, they don't just disappear. They grow, they spread, they create doubt. And doubt is hard to control, especially when you're living your life in front of an audience. Now imagine being in the middle of all that. Imagine saying something with full confidence, knowing millions of people heard it, and then watching everything around it start to shake. That's not easy, because it's not just about the relationship anymore. It's about the image, the words, the moment that's now recorded forever. And that's what makes this situation different from a private breakup or a quiet situation. This is public, documented, replayed. And no matter what happens next, that clip isn't going anywhere. That 100% is always going to exist. And that's where the real pressure comes in, because now it's not just about figuring out the truth. It's about deciding what to do next. While everyone is watching, at this point, the situation isn't just messy, it's heavy. Because now there's more than just rumors and reactions. There's reality setting in. And reality doesn't care about how confident you sounded a few days ago. Now, the real question isn't what happened. It's what happens next. What happens to that 2026 plan? What happens to the future she already spoke into existence? Does she stand by it? Does she stay quiet and let things settle? Does she shift direction and pretend none of this happened? Or does she take a step back away from the cameras and really think about everything she was told? Because here's the truth that sits underneath all of this. This situation is bigger than just one relationship. It's about something a lot of people have experienced, just not this publicly. Being warned, hearing something you don't want to believe, choosing your version of reality instead, and then slowly realizing maybe that warning wasn't coming from a bad place. Maybe it was coming from experience. That's a hard thing to accept, because it means admitting that you ignored something important. And nobody likes feeling like they missed something that was right in front of them. But that's exactly what makes this story hit so many people, because it's relatable. Not the fame, not the attention, but the situation. Almost everyone has had a moment where they chose to believe what felt good instead of what made sense. And sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, the hardest part isn't what happened. It's realizing you were told, that someone tried to show you and you didn't listen. Now take that feeling and imagine going through it while thousands of people are watching, commenting, analyzing every move you make. That's a different kind of pressure because there's no space to process quietly. Everything becomes content, becomes discussion. Even your silence becomes something people talk about. And that's where things stand right now, in the middle, not fully clear, not fully resolved, just unfolding. And the truth is, this story isn't finished. There are still things that haven't come out, still conversations that haven't happened, still decisions that haven't been made. But one thing is already certain. That moment in the interview changed everything because no matter what happens next, that clip will always be there. That certainty, that confidence, that belief in something that now feels uncertain. And maybe that's the biggest lesson in all of this. Not about who was right or wrong, not about who said what, but about how important it is to pause when someone who's been through something tries to tell you what it's really like. You don't have to agree. You don't have to take their side, but ignoring it completely, that's a risk. Because sometimes the people we think are just being negative are actually trying to save us time, pain, and confusion. And by the time you realize that, it's already playing out. So now it comes down to you watching this. What do you think? Was she confident or was she too sure too soon? Was that warning real or just noise that got taken too seriously later? And if you were in that position, would you have listened? Because stories like this don't just stay on the screen. They reflect things people go through every day. The only difference is most people don't have the world watching when it happens. So drop your thoughts because this situation isn't over, not even close. And whatever comes next, people are going to be watching even closer now.